Hey guys, and you're probably wondering, why am I playing on DayZ? Well, I feel that Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 has a very strong connection with DayZ 1, the original from the Arma 2 mod, and Path of Exile 2, and DayZ, standalone I should say. Now, PoE 1 and PoE 2 are very similar, just like the standalone from many moons ago in Arma 2 and the standalone on Steam are kind of basically the same. You spawn in, you're a survivor, you have to find loot, you have to survive, you can get some guns, some weapons, some vehicles, you might bump into some people, you might not, you might die instantly, you might not. PoE 1, you have all these choices. You can grab an ascendancy from a forbidden flesh and flame, you can make your own passive tree with a delirium kind of cluster jewel, you can just wing it, you can be a slow melee build if you want, extremely tanky, or you can be a super fast headhunter rapid bow build. You can really do what you want. Now, why am I even playing DayZ and talking about it in conjunction with Path of Exile? Well, Path of Exile 1 and 2 are very similar games, but I feel like PoE 2 has not captured the magic of the first game, and the developers really don't understand what people actually want. Likewise, when I play DayZ, I think the original from Arma 2 is a much more fun game, despite being less polished. And we've now reached a stage where DayZ standalone, meaning this game, has been out for a very long time, and we've now sort of seen their vision come to fruition over many years. And yes, the game is, the game is more polished, the game is, more fun, if you want to call it that, than it was 5 years ago. There's more features and all of that stuff. But ultimately, I just think it totally fails at capturing the magic of the original. Path of Exile 1 is very similar to this game. You had Arma 1, and Arma 1, you could really go ahead and you could spawn in, and immediately you would have a map, so you could figure out where you were, and you could go and head to an objective or a place with a friend. You would know that there were set places that were going to have some guns, some food, supermarkets were going to have cans of beans. You were going to be able to cook a little bit of meat, eat some meat, shoot some stuff, and you might have gone to Northwest Airfield and had a good old shootout and tracked a team, and you might have been running along and you might have found a tent here on the floor, and you might have found somebody's base, and somebody's just decided to put a tent here with a base just to keep some stuff, and you managed to find it, and whoopee days, brilliant. Arma, DayZ 2, if you want to call it that, made this game into what they believe sort of DayZ 1 was lacking. So they said, okay, players are having a lot of fun, but this isn't really a very realistic survival game. The zombies are too easy to avoid. There's too much loot. Things aren't complicated enough. People are basically having too much fun, and it's become a military simulator shooting game when we wanted a survival game. Whereas I think what most people wanted when, DayZ was really popular was the FPS to be fixed, the zombies to, be a bit more zombie-like, the clunkiness of fighting to be fixed. But what people really enjoyed was logging in for an hour or two, spawning in on the beach, finding some loot, getting some stuff going, heading to a nice action zone and having a bit of action and having a bit of combativeness and getting on voice chat and talking to people and having your own sort of story. You made your own story when you played. And it was a real blast. You could get in a helicopter. I've got videos of my friend Jamie. We're landing helicopters. We're taking on bases. We're fighting in the dark with glow sticks. And when I play this game and I load in, I'm hindered. I'm constantly having to manage my food. I'm constantly having to manage my water to the nth degree. If you eat the wrong thing, you're going to get an illness, and then you need this specific thing to fix the illness. I'm going to read you this comment, and this is why I think it relates to Path of Exile so well. So, it says, yeah, the pros of DayZ 2. It's smoother, it probably runs better, it has a higher population, every building is now enterable, there are more cities and towns, there's a temperature system, the sickness system has been expanded, there's more clothes, more backpacks, walkie-talkies have replaced global chat. But There are no vehicles, a lack of them. There are no helicopters, no bikes, no ATVs, no pickup trucks. They don't exist. They were too powerful. No Jeeps. The Ural truck's been the Ural truck's been made really, really rare. People also build bases and now hide behind them because they're overpowered. You don't find one in a tree like you used to. There are no sort of dinghy boats on Chernaros that's tied to DLC. There are no fishing boats. The AS-50's gone. You can't put a hunting scope on a Moisin. You've got to manage all these different systems, try not to get ill, try to find antibiotics, try to craft bandages and all of this stuff. You can't just pick things up and just use them. There's gas zones, there's no broken legs. It encourages hoarding. You can't put things down or stay for a long time because things will degrade. You really, really are surviving. And I think that's very true. You really are playing this brutal survival game. And yeah, sometimes it clicks and I have a nice time. But most of the time, I'm just missing the simple enjoyment of I want to load in, run around, find some loot. I don't want to have to craft down trees and find 60 different crafting combinations to get my character to feel somewhat powerful, just to die in the same way that I died in DayZ standalone anyway, in DayZ Armor. You know, you get your whole character geared up, and you're probably just going to bump into somebody that you didn't see anyway and die in a clunky way. Except now it's taken 100 hours of gameplay to get to that point. Yeah, I'm being a bit facetious, but you know, you get the point. This game has now become a survival game. When I look at Path of Exile 1, the thing to me that made it so fun for me and my friends was it was a choose your own adventure type of game. Now the devs are pushing you in this very, very set direction. Just like the standalone of DayZ pushed us in a set direction. We went from being geared and having all these little adventures. You might run into here and find a gold desert eagle, and now you're playing a desert eagle. Now all of a sudden we've got to gather bark wood, then we've got to try to find a fire, then I've got to have the right clothes with the right insulation, then my gun might end up not being pristine and it might break. I might not find any bullets. I might not be able to find any food for a while. I don't have a map, so I can't find my friends unless I know where I am and they know where they are and we tell each other. There's just clunkiness and there's friction between me and trying to have fun. And as a result, none of my friends play DayZ anymore because the thing that we enjoyed was having the battles, the military style battles with the accurate weapons. You know? Now, it's really, really not like that. It's a very, very different type of game. You know, it really is a very, very different type of game. And some people really, really enjoy it. Some people love this. Some people think, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. We've gone from this silly game that didn't really have any survival. There was just some zombies. There was clunkiness. You'd fall off the ladders and break your legs. To a proper survival game, and they love it. I've seen the videos on YouTube of people saying, look out, 2 clicks north, we've got contact up ahead, and they think they are surviving, they think they're hunter-gatherers, and they think it's brilliant. You know, likewise in PoE 1, we've now got this game where people like to say, oh, you're just bad at it, bro. It's just a difficult game, you need to get good at it, when actually, it's not that difficult. There's just layers of friction between the player and what they're trying to achieve. I don't think DayZ the 2 is a bad game. It's a nice little survival game and you can have some cool moments, but it doesn't capture the magic. It doesn't capture the magic of what, to me, Armor 2 did. Not at all. Finding currencies, going to traders, buying guns, having huge fights. You know, now it's become this like play super safe, you know, really survive, you know, and you end up bumping into people, and if you've got gear, you're so much more overpowered than the average Joe that it doesn't even feel like a contest anymore. You're not worried that a random, you know, a random character might have found an AK on the floor, because that's just not going to happen. They're not going to have found a working AK with bullets on the floor. When I play PoE 1 and 2, I just think to myself, yeah, the devs are going in this vision, and maybe in a few years' time, the vision is really honed in, and it is like this Dark Souls experience, and it is very, you know, it's very accurate in what it's trying to achieve. But will it capture the magic of PoE 1? I don't think so. I'm going to ask you a question here to end on. If you think I'm being over the top, I want you to answer this question. What's the one thing making you sign into Path of Exile 2? Like, what's the one thing that keeps you signing in where you go, I'm so glad this game exists because I can do this here? Because when I play DayZ 2, there's nothing really in this game that I'm doing that I can't do in DayZ original. There's just more layers of friction. There's not a cool gun or a cool moment. When I play PoE 2, yeah, I can make a build, I can kill some monsters, but I'm not signing in going, wow, look at this feature that is in PoE 2 that is not in PoE 1, and this just makes me keep want to play. It would be like, imagine you couldn't explode things in PoE 1 and all of a sudden PoE 2 had Herald of Ice shatters. You might keep signing into PoE 2 for that reason and be like, wow, this is incredible. The PoE 2 shatters are so good, love it. I don't know what there is in PoE 2 that isn't in PoE 1 that makes me play. And likewise with DayZ. Yeah, this is a cool standalone survival game, but it's totally changed. And yeah, it's going to have its fans and it's going to have its enjoyment. But for me, the thing that I enjoyed about DayZ was those battles, was those funny videos, was those moments where you've got two guys with AK shooting each other in trees, fighting over a base, and then respawning and coming back for vengeance. Now I die on this game, I ain't coming back for vengeance and having a battle with somebody, because it's going to take me bloody 20 hours to get going again if everything goes right. So I just thought, I thought it was interesting because these two games are very similar. Both have their own fans, both are very popular in their own right, but I think both sets of games do something very, very different.